What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. That guy is D-Mac, Darren McCarty, and in the Capitan's chair, Joik Bell back in the house, former Detroit Lions great, winner of the Harlan Hill Award, too, the Division II college football Heisman. He could tote the rock, everybody. Joik, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, slow motion. It's good to have you back, Neil.
It's good to have you back.
It's good to have you back. I'm always
good to have you both back, all right?
Yeah.
You know, everybody was gone last week. You had to do your road trip. You had to go celebrate your sobriety and also some other things. And then, you know, you're going to be going to December too, right?
I will be gone next week. I won't be in on Friday. We're playing at Alabama Friday night. I'm looking forward to seeing Alabama. They are good.
You were mentioning
they could win the national title.
They could win the national title, and you were telling me that how sort of they stuck it to Michigan a little bit.
Yeah, they got the number one point guard in the country. It was he was being recruited by Michigan, Kansas, Alabama. Nate Oates, who coached at Romulus, you know Nate Oates, I'm sure. Down there at Alabama, he's doing some things, man. So I'll be at Alabama Friday night. We have a tournament, one of those exempt tournaments down in Fort Myers, Florida next week. So I'll be out next week. But then, you know, the hard part's over, Joik, and we'll all be back together. The beginning of December, we'll all be back. It'll all be love.
For the holiday season. Leaving in December?
I'm going to Chicago just for Chicago and Indianapolis just for 2 days. Okay, and that's it.
I'll be gone Thursday and Friday back-to-back weeks.
Oh, yeah?
December.
Okay.
First week I'm going to London. We're trying to get Fish, but Fish said he doesn't want to go.
What? You would love London, Fish.
He doesn't want to go. So
you could bet on cricket?
So I don't know if Kennedy is watching, but Kennedy should come here because I think Kennedy is going to take Fish's spot.
All right.
But we're going down there for the Clarissa Shields fight. So she's fighting
over
in
big
London.
time.
Oh, yeah. So, we're all going out there. And then she's not doing any media, I think.
Except for Big D Energy, right?
Except Big D Energy. She's going to come on, and she's going to do Big D Energy all the way from London.
You know what? Real talk. I'm a big fan of hers.
So am I.
For real. I gotta get that autograph. I gotta get a glove autograph, man. You gotta hook that up for me.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, you gotta hook that up for me, man.
She's busy. She's very busy.
Not like today or during. She's in London.
For the next couple of years, she's gonna be very busy. So I'll see what I can do. I'll see if she can fit you in some shape or fashion. I'll see what get her to sign a piece of tissue or something. I'll bring it to you.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Skipper Stone wants to know, Rule, you playing tennis later? I think I do kind of look like I'm playing tennis later, right?
Do you play tennis?
Yeah, you got what are the Bryan brothers or whatever? You got the look.
That look going on right now. Yeah, I guess I do.
The Brook brothers. The Brook brothers.
The Brook brothers.
The Brook brothers.
Joik, Fraser City U18 doubles champion. Yes, I did play tennis. As a matter of fact, had a little bit of tennis game back in the day. Just
Let's get a game.
Low key.
I play.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should get out there.
Let's get out there. Now, don't kill me now. I'm not a pro.
We should get out there.
So we got golf and we got tennis.
Oh man, they're killing me right now. Neil, you just walk out of Bayside High School.
All right, so you give me Zach Morris's
no, he's definitely a Screech.
Mike says you look like Andre Agassi. Well, Mike, weirdly enough,
we were just talking about the Andre Agassi. I told him I like this kicks, and he said, "Oh, these some Andre Agassi." He said, "Do you even know who Andre Agassi is?" Who doesn't know who Andre Agassi is?
Yeah, but you don't know him because of the tennis. Right?
I knew he played tennis, so I knew him because a rap artist in my hometown put him in a rap song when I was in high school, and that what kind of got me hip to. I knew who he was, but I'm like, I didn't know he was that big.
You didn't know him like that.
Yeah, I didn't know he was big like that to be putting him in rap songs. So I saw paying closer attention to him. But yeah, that's the man. Andre Agassi.
Yeah, he is, man. He was big time. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But, we're going to wrap up the Monday Night Football. Matt Stafford. The stat line didn't look too good, but I'm going to defend Matt. I'm going to switch roles a little bit and defend Matt Stafford. Taylor Decker is pissed at the media, I guess. I don't know if he's mad at us or what the story is. We'll sort all that out.
I don't think it's all the media.
Just in general?
Not all the media. He's not. I think it's a few people in the media that he's upset with.
Yeah, but you nailed it. When you get a microphone in front of your face, right? 80%.
20% of people
20%
won't like what you
of
say.
People automatically not going to agree with you. So, and as an athlete, you know what? what you got to say is what, Coach. Hey, okay, whatever you think about me, and then
you jump in your car and go
jump
home,
in
man.
your car and go home.
That's what it is.
And the car might be, Range Rover or Lexus.
You jump in Joik's Tesla and you bounce,
you go.
man.
Bounce.
Yeah, and you bounce. Canuck Duke says, Neil, straight out of the 90s today, LOL. The 90s were strong, man. I don't care what people say. The 90s were strong.
Absolutely.
Ryan D says, you playing lacrosse, you going to the yacht club today. So, it'd be all right, people, get it in, yuck it all up. That's fine. Hey, I can take it. I certainly can take it. But we'll be talking about the Taylor Decker situation as well. The Manning broadcast. D-Mac will wrap up the Red Wings and the Blue Jackets game. College football playoff rankings coming out tonight. I don't think there'll be any movement, but we'll discuss that. Golden Tate feels sorry for the Detroit Lions. Curious to get Joik's take on that. We didn't touch on it yesterday. I do have to bring up the Eduardo Rodriguez situation. Rumors swirling now about the Tigers and Carlos Correa. I'm not a big fan, but I'll explain later. And, don't forget, Sawyer, we got the turkey games going on. We do have the turkey games going on.
Fish.
Woodward Sports give you your chance to sit front row on Thanksgiving. All you got to do is survive our squid turkey games. Listen every day to the Morning Woodward Show at 9 a.m. Big D Energy at noon and the bottom line at 3 for your chance to qualify. The winner of the turkey games will get 2 front row tickets to the Thanksgiving Day game in Detroit, plus a turkey. I'm a big fan of a free turkey. So if you think you can master our turkey games challenges, watch and listen. We'll get people qualified in the days leading up to the Thanksgiving Day game. But make sure you stick around at noon, and we can get somebody here from Big D Energy qualified. But last night, Monday Night Football, the 49ers put it on the Rams, 31-10. And first off, Joik, before I get your thoughts on it, D-Mac, I will go back to it. You and I sat here yesterday, and I told the people right after I did the MyBookie read, I said it doesn't smell right.
Well, we looked at each other, and we didn't even pick the game.
Yeah.
Right? We just
Didn't
looked at
have
each
to.
other and went, that doesn't smell right. And sometimes a smell test will tell you because you would expect the game. I don't know if anybody goes through gambling that way, but Neil, do you, before the line goes out, do you have not only the winner of the game, so if it's St. Louis or if it's LA versus San Fran, I think, okay, LA is going to win that game. And then I look at the points, and then when the points don't match up to what I think the game is, that's what it smells
I do
wrong.
the same thing, but reverse that. Like I see the line, and then it kind of points me.
So
in
you
the
go
direction.
from the line in
I
the
go from
direction
the line to
because
yeah.
that, and you know what? Vegas feeds off that. We talk that all the time around here of the Michigan betting college. That
you pay a tax.
You pay a tax on it and stuff like
It's like
this.
the Yankees. It's like the Lakers.
Like some of these games, like this last night, it didn't smell right. But again, that's 2 in a row bad games for the Rams and stuff like this. Do you hit the panic button there? Did you look at it like it was OBJ's influence or
no? Like
not at all?
I mean, to be funny, you can do that stuff and be funny on social media. There's no doubt. But I'll go to Joik on this one where. Joik, I think the Rams right now are very similar to Tampa for me, where I'm not pushing the panic button or backing the truck up or anything like that. I mean, you look at the pick six that Stafford threw. That's not Stafford's fault. Look at that.
No,
he hit the dude in the arms, man.
You know what, man? He just had a bad game.
The whole their offense did, and that happens, man. Especially on the road in the NFL, you don't play clean every week.
It's hard to play, good football.
Every
quarters,
play, yeah.
Week in, week out. They had a bad game. Okay. It's not the end of the world, Tyler Higbee I don't think he didn't play his best game, man. He had a lot of key drops. One cost him. They could have been a 13-point or 14-point swing. Right? It could have been a 14-point swing, and he hurt him there. And then it was like another play when it was third and 5, 3rd and 7. In the fourth quarter, he dropped another pass and just kind of showed this is how this night went for the Rams. Just a wide open, just dropped it, went between his legs, and that ended the game that way. It was just a poor performance on the offensive side of the ball.
Let me ask you this too, Joik. And Jake Wegener says on our YouTube chat thread, you can get involved on our YouTube chat thread as well. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, just slide over to the side, pump a comment in there. When we get to those, as the show rolls on, certainly our social media handles on the screen also. However you want to interact, we will take your thoughts. But this is a really, really good point where Jake says that Shanahan just seems to have McVay's number right now. Why is that, Joik? Why does that happen? Where coaches, it's weird,
You
right?
are who you are. You are who you are. And usually coaches, once they get into the league, whatever helped them to become successful is usually what they stick with. And that sometimes can...
It can be a bad matchup for somebody.
Right. So your strength can also, be your downfall, so to speak. And so, but I don't think that played a big of a part as, the 49ers defense having 2 takeaways and, the Rams having no takeaways.
Yeah.
And you lose that turnover battle. It's hard to win in this league. It'll happen, but it's very rare. It's
and even more rare on the road.
Yeah, it's even more rare on the road. So when you go in the game and you lose a turnover battle, it's hard to come back from that. And then when you're not, and I'm not going to sit here and lie, like, if you look at the running backs, if you look at the numbers, it looked like they had a bad run game. But in retrospect, they actually had a good run game. They was averaging, both backs were averaging 5 yards plus a carry.
Yeah.
But when you're behind, you can't run the ball.
Changes everything.
It changes
man.
everything. You can't run the ball. And that's kind of what hindered them throughout this game. Stafford is a gunslinger, and he threw for 226. 49ers threw for 179, and that really didn't matter because the 49ers had a good balanced offense. The run game was working. Debo was having a great game. He was getting off.
Debo.
Debo, I'm telling you, like, Debo reminds me a lot of Golden Tate, that yak after the carry.
He says, "It's my touchdown, homie."
Yeah, he's that guy. He's going to make play after play. And even a run game, they couldn't – when you have a run game, when they're rushing, they can run at will. And it's tough. I got to give some credit to Jimmy, man. Garoppolo, he had a good game, man. It's hard to find a rhythm when you're running the ball like that. But he kept them in. He made some key passes. He kept his team in the game, and he was clutch when the team needed him to be clutch.
It reminds me when you asked the question about having Shanahan having Sean McVay's number. Reminds me of poker, right? Where there's just some
a guy at the table, yeah.
Some guys where that they're moving. These guys sort of have grown up together in the coaching realm, around each other. They're obviously friends and different things. So your buddy at the end of the day. Yeah. What he's going to go to in the crutch, right? If you're compared it to poker, is he a guy, will he be able to push that bluff on you? Or when he puts his money in, he's going to have the nuts, right? So I think that there's something going there, that the psychology of it, and it bothers it. I know that this is the big thing that sits on McVay's mind, is the fact that Shanahan owns him and stuff. But I look at it like it's a psychology part of it, and he's just one step ahead of him.
I'm gonna tell you this, because I hate to say it, because I'm a Trigger Trey fan, right? But last night he was waiting for his opportunity to get into the game, and Jimmy was just on fire. He couldn't get in. Threw for 15 for 19, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 receptions.
It was very Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Exactly what he does.
But it was a Shanahan game plan against it, where they effectively run it, where he only has to throw under 200 yards, but he's efficient and effective in the throws that he makes.
Yeah, he was very. And then you have players who was a Debo who can catch it and get you that yak and get you that, get you that touchdown that you need, that you wasn't necessarily thinking he would get. That was a possession throw. Get the first down, you'll get hit. But not with Debo. Not with Debo. I'm going all the way. And that's the thing that I look at Debo and say, that what sets him apart from other receivers in this league.
Brandon says, what happens if he throws another pick six next week and then another one the week again? No, he's the same quarterback, making the same mistakes he did as a line. And Brandon, I would say that that is true, but I would also say, for my thing with the Rams, where I was wrong, in our YouTube channel right now, they got the meme that was going around Twitter last night with Odell looking at Stafford with the quote, "They said you were better than Baker Mayfield." No, but for me, the difference with the Rams team right now, the defense isn't what it was. It was, and the rankings bear this out. The Rams in total defense, I think, are right middle of the pack, 13, 14, 15, somewhere around there. The year before, they were number 1. Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, they made a play at the end against the Lions. But I think it's fair to say, and I don't think too many people would disagree, they haven't been running around the field making plays like they have in the past. And I know that will fuel the Stafford argument that you need a historically great defense with great receivers and everything like that. I understand that, and to a point, I agree. And look, don't get me wrong, don't shade me out to be some kind of Stafford defender, because you know very much I'm not, because the bottom line is he had the football in his hand with a chance to win a playoff game on the road and didn't get it done. Like that's ultimately what his legacy will be to me. Great player, put up a lot of great numbers, but when the ball was in his hand, he didn't get the job done. So we can stop it with that. But D-Mac, I'll tell you that the defense isn't the same defense for the Rams that it has been in the past.
No, and I think last night it probably goes back to they're going to have to go to the drawing board. Obviously, with bringing in Von Miller, having Aaron Donald, they have the talent there. So we can just, like we said it, you're going to have games like this. There's going to be games throughout the season. When we talk about the wings, it's the same thing that I said. You're going to have to suffer through the ebbs and flows. So I guess it's how they respond. Because at the end of the day, Neil, when we sit here, the only thing that matters is can Stafford win that first playoff game. So this is all by the wayside. All this, who cares?
Yeah.
It's the fact that they have to make the playoffs, and he's got to win that first playoff game.
Like you said, like they didn't play their best. They didn't play their best game. But if you look at it, Stafford coming into this game, passing leader. The first pick, I would say, you have a guy like Odell Beckham. Throw it up to him. Let's see what he can do. I will put it more towards the sideline.
I got a question for you about that when we come back. Yeah. When we come back, I got a question for you about Odell Beckham. But let me tell you, from the biggest games to the smallest events, you can make every bet worth your while with MyBookie. Start by doubling your first deposit instantly with their first deposit bonus. Double your money before you even place a bet. All you got to do is sign up and deposit using the exclusive promo code Woodward at MyBookie. Tons of great games and prop bets to take advantage of this week. But how about this one? Try this one on for size. This Saturday, the NBA is jam-packed with big games that look good for betting overs. The Charlotte Hornets mixing it up with the Atlanta Hawks, a superstar showdown between Damian Lillard and Joel Embiid as well when Philadelphia travels to Portland. Don't wait any longer. Go to MyBookie today. Redeem your double deposit bonus so you can get in the game and start winning big today. That's promo code Woodward to receive your first deposit instantly doubled. No hassle, no wait. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a gambling problem? Call 1-800-270-7117.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
We're off and running here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. He's D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Joik Bell in the house as well. Big what up, though, if you're listening on the radio on 93.5, The Roar, 99.1 FM, 94.7, HD2 WCSX. And don't forget about the podcast page on iTunes. Subscribe to the Big D Energy. The show comes in podcast form. You can fast forward, rewind, anything you want to do. It's right there. If you're lazy like me, it's perfect. Goes right to your phone. You don't have to do a damn thing. Just push play and fast forward and rewind and all that. But we're happy to have you along for the ride. Our YouTube chat thread is on and popping as it always is. John Suba says, Neil, I want the Rams to get bounced from the playoffs right away because come April, I want that pick in the low 20s rather than the low 30s. And John, you know me. You know that's what I'm about. I'm about that draft capital, and I'm with you all the way. The difference that I would say, though, for the Rams versus where the Bucs are right now, when you look at the Rams' schedule, this was the wrong time. This was a bad game to lose, D-Mac, because you're playing San Francisco. On paper, you should win that game. Now you got to go to Green Bay. That's no treat. And, oh, by the way, you got to go to Arizona in 2 weeks, who you're looking up at in the standings. I will always dictate my thoughts on playoffs based on matchups, and to start, it's always advantageous to be at home.
Well, no, I mean, it definitely is, and the Rams proved that last night. But not only does Rams loss move us up, but obviously their schedule gets tougher. You look at games like we've done here, and which games the Lions going to win. Well, the Rams got to go out and play, so it's either going to work. And I think because of their experience, because they've been to the dance, because of all that stuff, is that this will galvanize them. That this is now where they got to make their playoff run, their push. Last night they can wash it off and say, okay, there it is, new season here. This starts the push because they have no choice. They got tough games ahead of them. So we'll see. And if it is the same old Matt Stafford and the Rams, don't get it done, well, that just helps us in the draft position.
Odell Beckham last night caught just a couple of passes. But, Joik, you brought up a good point because it's something where I was waiting for when I was watching the game, but it never came, where I expected it. And I know that this is going to take time, something like this. He's not just going to show up on the scene and you're going to wing the ball up in the air and tell him to go get it. But that's Odell Beckham, though, right? For him to be at his best, that's what you have to do, right?
You got to test him out. We didn't bring you here just to, we didn't bring you here just to put you on that shelf and just have you as a nice centerpiece right there. No, we're going to use you. We're going to use you. Just go out there. And that's kind of like Stafford saying, listen, I've seen you play. I believe in your talent. I'm going to throw it up, and I'm going to, he's no Calvin Johnson. Calvin, you can have 2 or 3, 4 guys down there. He's going to come down with the ball. It doesn't matter. And Odell Beckham has the ability to go down there and make eye-popping catches. And so that throw that he made was like him saying, listen, I don't care who's down there. You're here now. Let's see what happens. I'm going to throw it up to you. Now, mind you, the pocket wasn't, end up collapsing. He had to get out the pocket, but he releases it. I would throw it more towards the sideline. But, you got Odell, just get it down there to him. Just get it down there. I'm not mad at the pass. It happens. And the next interception he throws, it's going to go in the books for him, but definitely wasn't his fault. But definitely wasn't. And so I'm not mad at it. The chemistry will get there. This is his first game there. Go through his first week of practice. Let's, go through this week, and let's see how we implement him into the offense, because it's great to have him here now that Woods is out for the rest of the year.
Canuck Duke says OBJ will improve. He still has to get familiar with the playbook, establish that chemistry. How much is that, though, Joik? Because what we're talking about and what I'm saying is, because that's how I am with guys like OBJ. Yeah. I'm gonna close my eyes and throw it up there, and you go do what you do. Hey. But so that runs kind of counterintuitive. There isn't really a familiarity type thing to throwing the ball up, right? Or is there?
No, it's not, and that's the reason why he threw that pass, or why he got more of those passes, because this is what you're known for, and this is what we brought you here for, to kind of take that top off the defense and go down there and make these eye-popping plays. Now the thing is this. When you have a guy like that coming in, you don't really have time to work on timing. You don't have time, but you do have time to say, hey, I'll run down the field, let me throw it up to you, right? And so this week they'll have time to work on their timing. I'm pretty sure on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, well, probably not Friday, but Wednesday and Thursday for sure, I'm pretty sure that Odell Beckham is going to be standing after practice and probably even before practice working on timing routes. And it don't have to be the whole route, but if they just work on the top of the route, they'll be beneficial for them going into the following week.
Detroit Dabber 313 says, I'm laughing Peyton Manning on that play. Well, OBJ has a tackle this season at least. And I do turn to you, D-Mac, because you're the resident Manning cast slappy like myself. But here's what I found. Last night, I didn't really dig into the Manning cast the way I had in previous times. And I'm wondering if people felt the same, where has it run its course a little bit? Because what I found was I didn't miss anything, because Twitter will have that stuff out there in 45 seconds, and they can kind of do the work for me and just give me the highlights, and that's really all you need. I'm wondering, has it run its course for some people?
So you answered your own question. No, it hasn't. You're still paying attention. You're watching the game when it's a game that, like San Francisco, LA Rams with Matt Stafford at quarterback and stuff, is a Monday Night Football, but you're also keeping up to date. You just told me that the fact that at Twitter that it's going. So yeah, there is fandom. I think that if you don't want to, like, talking about the curse or whatever, the Manning curse. Everybody who's been on there, from Josh Allen.
Phil Mickelson said, I'm not playing this
Phil,
week.
Yeah, Phil was on this week, and as a golfer who just won his 4th out of his 6 senior events that he's played, but he said he took the week off because he was afraid of the cast. But I like it because it's something different. And, to that, right? Eli Manning threw to Odell Beckham for a long time. He even said it on the program. I'd use Odell, to Joik's point about timing, on those quick slants and to get him in open space and stuff. So I'm sure that's something that I understand that takes a week of practice or something to be able to get some timing. So I'm more interested next week how they come out, and they have to play. They got games to play, so now's the time, and health brings it up. And our the 5 games: Green Bay, Baltimore, out of Arizona, San Fran, and then even Seattle. Right now they're playing a bunch of these at home, so that's a benefit. But again, you got to go out and win, and it doesn't get any easier. And this is where I wonder, does 17 games, that extra game, do injuries really play a part? Because
Joik, tell me about that, man. This extra game.
Can we sit here? Do you think we'll be sitting here at the end of the year with like the 1 game to go, and it's going to swing because maybe some teams have more injuries because of the season?
Yeah, listen, we will talk about this, and I would never feel sorry or for a team disadvantage of having injured players. That's the nature of the game, right? Staying healthy is the nature of the game. I remember I was reading a quote from Bill Russell. I remember he said, the best thing you can do for your team is be available.
Right.
As he was sitting in the cold tub. And, some unfortunate things happen when you might tear ACL or tear your Achilles or things of that nature, stinger in the shoulder, break something, break a leg. Like, those things happen. If someone has a pulled muscle, then I blame it on that person. They're not doing everything they need to do off the field, soft tissue work. And when you get to week 18, it's a long season, right? It used to be week 17. And now this extra game, what it does is it takes a game out of the preseason, a game where the veterans can rest, and puts an extra game on them. And it takes away from young guys trying to make the team because they have less of an opportunity to go out there and showcase their talent. And so overall, I don't like it. I understand why Tom Brady doesn't like it, but hey, you got to go with the Tide.
Mike says, rule breaker, you kind of look like Woody Harrelson in White Men Can't Jump.
I
mean, yeah.
Yeah,
kind of a little bit like that.
You got Woody's game?
At Foaling Warehouse, I do. When I step out on the Foaling lanes, I do. There's no question about that. Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck, home of the original Foaling pinball game called Foaling. Host your corporate party, team building event, or just come on in with family and friends. You can do the unlimited open play for just $10, or you can reserve a private lane for $120 for up to 10 people for 2 hours. There's over 100 different beers available. A $2 mystery beer vending machine that is very, very cool. They have multiple full bars, and plus, you can bring your own food. You can have food delivered. However you want to do it, the Foaling Warehouse is out there. It is a very good time. I know that we've discussed that. I think we need to set up a Big D Energy / Woodward Sports Foaling event. I think we'll get that hooked up sooner rather than later. You can go on out there and get your Foal on. Check it all out at FoalingWarehouse.com.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
On and popping here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Joik Bell in the Capitan's chair. Also happy to have you all with us. More from our YouTube chat thread. If you want to get involved right there if you're watching on the YouTube channel. go ahead and fire away. George Ribbo says they literally give you the highlights of the Manning stream on YouTube. Neil's right that you can just catch the highlights. Well, George, I just appreciate it because you said I was right. When's Joik Bell going to be on the Manning cast, by the way? When we hooking that up? With the Big D Energy T-shirt or something?
You know what? I've been in talk with my people, and they're reaching out to his people. Let's see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
There you go.
And my people are, Jesse.
People are right over there around the corner hooking it up. No, but, we talked a lot about the Monday Night Football game, but there were some news out of Lions camp as well. I guess Taylor Decker's pretty pissed off at the media, and I'm not sure who in particular it is. We'll discuss that, but let's play the comments for you. This is Taylor Decker. He's pissed off.
Well, frankly, I feel like the narrative of negativity surrounding my name all year pretty much has been I don't feel like it's been deserved. I do feel like people within the building, and I do feel like a lot of fans appreciate me and what I can do for this team. But yeah, the media pretty much all year has been pretty negative around me, and so I'm not going to act like I like that. I think it was. I've played a lot of football here, and I think I played well. So that's that.
And that was Taylor Decker yesterday down at Lions operations base, and for me, it's pretty simple with Taylor Decker. He's a good football player. I mean, let's bottom line that guy can play football. He's very good. He's very good at his job.
One of the pros on our team.
Yeah. But I mean, D-Mac, you and I were talking before the show started. It's no coincidence he shows back up on the scene, and they run for over 2 bills.
No, and that should give you some solace in the fact that not only it's good that and for me, I'm just speaking for myself, is to know that he had a plate and 5 screws in his hand, and I don't know if that was reported on before or other than just when he came back. But when you're 0-8, whatever it is, when you're an asset and you're valuable, you take the time to come back. And I know that maybe he came back sooner or whatever, but he was effective, right? He was effective at left tackle, even moving Sewell back, even though that, for calling it like we see it, that his replacement at left tackle was drafted. But you see what we were talking about at training camp, where that offensive line could be a force, and you can't run for 239 without it. And Mike Tomlin himself said that some of the jumbo packages in the run, they just couldn't stop him. So to me, that's a benefit. Guys, you haven't won a playoff game, and isn't everybody's up for being talked about?
When you're
I think the only negative about Taylor Decker was, if they were going to move somebody, who would be valuable to move? Decker, Hawkinson, a Swift.
Pretty short list.
So I don't know.
Which is why you're 0-8-1.
I never heard anybody say he stunk.
No,
or he didn't, whatever.
No, I didn't hear that either.
The fact, and it obviously shows you what the coaching staff thinks of him, because they keep him at left tackle and make Sewell change where it would be easier to make him change. So, guys, right here, 9 of, and maybe that's for Taylor too, is just to get back and don't worry about it. Great game, you tied, you haven't lost in November, now go and build on it. But I don't get where he's coming from, other than, but do you understand, if your name comes up in a trade sort of thing, that means that somebody looks at you as valuable? They don't.
Well, I go to you, Joik. I mean, you sat in those locker rooms before.
Yeah. If I'm the head coach, if I'm advising Taylor Decker, I would advise him to stay off of social media, keep his eyes out of the media, and just focus on rehabbing, getting healthy, and getting back out there on the field. Everything else that you're hearing or listening to right now, to anyone outside that, outside of your family, outside of your friends, outside of people outside that locker room, front office, it's all white noise. It's all white noise. And so this is I'm a firm believer in, when the season's end, my time on social media is limited. I'm not looking at them praising me. I'm not looking at them talking down on me. I'm here the entire season. And then when the season's over with, then I can go back and look. But everything he's doing and listening to right now is all a distraction from the main goal. And so my advice to him is just let it go. Don't look at it. Don't read into it. You're looking and taking opinions from people who have no idea what it's like to play left tackle in the NFL, and you letting it affect you mentally. Don't do it. I mean, and just talk about numbers. Last year, he finished with an 82 overall, and then he finished right under 86 as far as his rating, blocking grade, and that ranked 12th overall of all tackles in the NFL. There's no way, shape, or form that we're looking at Taylor Decker saying he's not beneficial to this team. You saw what happened when we brought him back, how we were able to run on both sides of the ball. Now, when we get Frank Randolph back, now we're running up the middle now. Right? They couldn't stop it. They can't stop us when we have those type of players on our own line. And you have 3 potential Pro Bowlers, 3 potential All-Pros.
Well, at the end of the day, as an athlete, the criticism you take, how does that affect you, right? So first of all, like, somebody says something about you, if you don't respect them, that I laugh. Like, if you don't have respect for somebody that says something bad about you, then what do you give a care? Go out and do your job. If it's somebody that you respect, then do a self-evaluation and look at what's going on.
But see, D-Mac,
you can't get personal. Like Joik said, if you're in the heat of it, I mean, dude, people want to engage all the time in negativity. It's whether you decide to or not. But his play on the field proved his value and his assets. So you don't have time as an athlete to get in your feelings. Or if you do, then to the point that if it bothers you so much, call the person out and have that conversation. So be accountable. Wipe your slate. You don't need to be dragging that around.
I think he did what he needed to do. I think he knew all of this negativity going into the game and used that for fuel during the game. Oh, you guys think I can't play? You think I don't have it? Okay, let's go see. And he went out there and he proved it. That's what you need to do week in, week out. Now, if you're not using that for fuel, then what are you using it for? Right, what are you using it for? Like, just keep it in the back of your head.
But when he says the things, then if he doesn't say anything, we don't bring it up. Now he puts media in there, we got to bring it up. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Look at you guys in your locker room, around. If you're worried about a media member saying something that, like, a teammate said or something, like this is in the room. So he should know that it seems like the room's got his back. Yeah. That's all that matters.
And this is the firm. This is the epitome of Detroit versus everybody. Just we keep it in the locker room. We talk to one another, and it was one play when I came in. I think a coach. I was a rookie, and the coach said something to me. I like, man, as long as my teammates and everybody, got my back, I'm good. He looked at me and said, "You believe in that?" He said, "You really? You got to work hard, get yours, and get out of here." Like, I'm not going to say who that player was. But if I tell you it was my rookie year, it was on the first team that I was on. Now I'll let you guys put two and two together.
You could probably retrace the steps.
Yeah, you can retrace the step. But no, that was kind of funny to me. But I've always been a firm believer, like, everything that happens in house stays in house. It doesn't go outside of the locker room. And so, for me, like I said, for Taylor Decker, just look to your teammates, keep everything within, and understand that the media are getting paid to go out here and write these negative comments or say these negative things. But understand, like, you're top 12. Last year you finished top 12. How many tackles, how many of those writers have finished top 12 in the NFL, let alone their own profession?
Well, my thing with it, Joik, is even this, like, when I signed the contract to come here to do this job, every word I say, 20% of people they're not going to like it. Especially if you're a Michigan fan, chances are you're probably not going to like it. So they'll say things and stuff like that. But what I can't understand for Taylor Decker is, people will say, "Neil, you're stupid," or "You have dumb takes," or "Neil, I agree with you," or whatever. But you know what, man? At the end of the day, Joik, when the show is over, I'm going to take the headphones out. I'm going to go record my DraftKings bit that I have to do.
You're going to get in your car.
And then I'm going to get my car and I'm going to go home, man. And, like, tomorrow we're going to do it all over. It's like every other job. And that's what I don't get about Taylor Decker, who's been in this position more often in his life than he hasn't been. Just in terms of playing at Ohio State and being in the forefront and stuff like that. I'm not saying, hey, you signed up for this when you signed the contract. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying you have to take it into account. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to account for it, and you can't let it let it bother you like that, man.
Listen. Like, he's still human. He still has.
And I get that.
Yeah, he still has. And so for us to sit here and say, "Oh, you can take it because you're getting all this money,"
no, and it's not that.
And you play ball, and you're used to it. You don't get used to people talking
you know what
negative.
It is? When you sit in an organization or a locker room that has won, that you know what it takes to win, meaning that you look right, you look left, and you know at the end of the day when you've been through that battle, good, bad, or indifferent, right? There's a different level where you realize at the end of the day to get there, it's all about the people in the room and the organization to climb that hill, because you know what? How many times it's all the naysayers. So in saying that, how would they know in that organization any different? Because they don't win. So they don't know they don't know not to stop.
I don't agree.
They don't know how. Okay, let me finish. They don't know how to block out the noise. They don't know how to not go to this and that. They can be upset, but when you're upset, you go to your leaders and that, but it never comes out. Who did it come out through our team? Scotty Bowman, the coach, whatever like that. You never got in because it was always no matter what. I said that's all I'm saying. I'm throwing something out, trying to show you the mentality of a locker room that I've been in. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not. I don't know. The fact is, you shouldn't fuel the fire, because anytime you come out and say the media this, the media that as an athlete, you're just going to drum up kerosene and fire and whatever else. I'm just saying, in a winning organization, ours, because of the veteran leadership and stuff like that, you want to say something and you don't. You're not allowed. Somebody else will vent it, or it comes from the top.
Well, he came in his first year. He won his first year. Now coming in, went to the playoffs.
What? He went. Well, that's not winning, Joy.
Huh?
He went to the playoffs. He didn't win a playoff game. He hasn't won a championship. I'm talking championships.
You didn't say championship. You said win.
I'm talking winning championships.
I will say win championships.
I'm part of the locker room that won 4
You got to say win
championships.
Then you got to.
I'm just saying, you got
careful.
somebody that's worried about winning games instead of worried about some media guy being mad at you. It's a freaking joke. And until that attitude changes, what, you made the playoffs? Congratulations. I made the playoffs every year of my career.
That's
what does that matter? All that matters is the cups. I'm just saying, it's the attitude. It's such BS to what's important.
This is what's in his head.
So hold on,
let me tell you what's in his head.
It shows you how mentally soft it is in that locker room. Because that's a leader, and he's showing you. If Taylor Deck is your leader, and he's showing you what bothers him, outside noise, right? He should come back and say, "Yeah, I heard the noise. Don't matter. It's about us."
He did. He came back and he played well. What else can he do?
He played well, and then he shot his mouth off. He needs to play and shut it up if he wants it to go away.
What?
If he wants it not to go away, and he wants the media, which if I'm sitting here like this, I'm giving you my perspective.
Listen, he can say what he wants to say
from champions. Okay, when I say winning, I mean championship.
Not
a playoff game, not making the Joy. That is
hold on. I'm just saying, what can he do? What can he do? What can he do?
Shut up and play.
He don't got to
shut up and play. Spoke for himself.
His play
he can
say what he want to say. He is a grown man. He is a grown man. He can say what he say, and he bagged it up. He bagged it up. He went out there.
Did he say that before or after? Hello, anybody?
He said it after the game.
After the game.
When they interviewed him.
I get it. He's allowed to say whatever he said. What I'm trying to show you is that the winning mentality needs to be built in that locker room, because they're worried about. I don't care what he says. If that's his motivation, the way he plays, but he's got to hear it back. And if he's worried about it, obviously that motivation helps Taylor Decker, right? Right?
Yes, it does.
So there it is. So we're going to talk about it. It doesn't bother me. Go win a game. It's not about him. It's about the organization. I mean, it's all about the attitude in the locker room. And what he's allowed. Don't ever say that again. He's allowed to talk because he made the playoffs. He won.
No. What I'm saying
is anything.
What I'm saying is, you said he came to an organization that hasn't won, and I said, well, they won some games and went to the playoffs. You said, well, they didn't win championship. All I said,
winning to me is championships, George. It's not winning a freaking playoff game. I'm sorry that it's different.
No. What I'm saying is, we'll just say he won championships. That's it. But
no, because it's about the process.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying.
I hope this continues to help and if he brings it out every day and then it starts to win, that's fine. Hey, Taylor, if you need the Coast Machete, I'll bring it over to your house. It's you be you, bro. That's the whole thing. But I'm showing you the difference in the mentality. But you too, if you want. You know it's lights. You know it's knives. It's everything. CoastPortland.com. You can use WSN20 for 20% off. Yes, champions use this stuff too, like you can. Coast Portland. Been around since 1919. Lions have won since then. Yes, a playoff game and a championship. Anyways, we're Big D Energy. I'm going to cool down. D-Mac, Neil Rule. Joik Bell. We'll be back. Woodward Sports Network.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. Did you know mortgage rates are still at generational lows? If you haven't refinanced your home loan yet, there's still time. Now is your second chance to refinance. You could lower your monthly payment, eliminate credit card debt, or even take cash out by using your home's equity. Call Hall Financial now to get started with your free 5-minute mortgage review. 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
Hey, what's going on? Neil Rule. D-Mac, Derek McCarty, Joik Bell, back here. Lots of Big D energy in the studio right now.
It's hot in here, and I don't think it's the heat.
Yeah, on our YouTube chat thread, Canuck Duke says, "Damn, D-Mac."
I'm just saying, you want to get that, whatever it is, but that's a culture thing, and they're building the culture, right? And don't get it twisted as we talk about the quarterback and we talk about the game in Pittsburgh. Everything is down. Like, they're building from everything we talk about, salary cap, draft capital, players and stuff like this. Find the motivation. If it's us against them and he needs to bring it out every day and they run for 200 plus yards, do it. It's just the fact you got to understand when you bring up media, you open it up for everybody to comment on, and I don't think it's what you want. But to my point, he used it as motivation. He came back, played well, got to do it again.
Damn, D-Mac letting the chopper spray. He did. There's no question about that. Neil Rule, D-Mac, Joik Bell
Shout
back
out to
with
Brandon.
you.
I wish Joik was still playing. Him and Delmas were my favorite. Oh, that's
you like
nice.
my
I appreciate
paintball
it,
gun?
Brandon.
I got my paintball shirt on. I'm gonna reach for my paintball gun in a minute.
And let it spray in a minute, huh? No, but yeah, it was heated. There's no doubt it was heated here inside the Big D studio. But hey, it's real around here,
man. And it's only heated just because
we care.
I just felt because we care, and I feel like the Lions care, like the players care, but I think it's like a mental block of just winning and figuring out how to finish and win the game. It's just a mental block there, because that game I watched, no one wanted to win that game.
Oh,
like in their head, they wanted.
No, it was painful to watch.
Like,
man.
if you watch my story on Instagram, like, I'm really right
I
there. Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah.
I said, it was.
Neil said it looked like his
heart.
son's high school football game.
Yeah, junior high game. Like sometimes they can't snap the ball back to the quarterback.
Listen, when they got that hit at the end of the game and they made the Steelers fumble, I think it was their tight end or their receiver, they fumbled the ball at they're literally in field goal position. They called this fumble right here, and we jumped on it. It was at this point I said, you know what? No one wants to win this game. No one wants to win this game.
They wanted to, but they just didn't want to. If that makes any sense.
I mean,
that says it all right there.
I've never seen. Because it's not even me. I'm not even trying to talk down on her. I've never seen a kick this poorly in a game where.
Yeah, but Joik, you knew he wasn't going to make that kick, right? You knew. And by the way...
yeah, I knew because he couldn't make the extra point. So I really didn't feel good on the 48-yarder.
Yeah.
And by the way, I heard Dan Campbell this morning say they are auditioning kickers this week.
They need to. It's
Park. They should audition them at the Steelers football stadium, though.
It's the mustache for me.
They should. Because if you can make kicks there, you can make kicks anywhere.
It's just like, what was that? What was that? That didn't even get off the ground.
See, you tell us, because we, us as fans that watch, think, What was that as a professional kicker?
No,
Explain to me as a professional football player what was that?
Run that play again. Like, what's the laces in? Run the play again. Let's get a close look.
Finkel is Einhorn.
Einhorn is Finkel.
Einhorn is Finkel.
Like, I don't know.
No, the bottom line is
the approach.
Joik, here's the bottom line. Okay, here's the deal with it. He's not good enough. If he were good enough, he'd have been employed a couple weeks ago, and he wasn't, or he wouldn't have kicked for the Montreal Alouettes in the Canadian Football League.
The pressure.
He was not good enough.
This was the pressure for him. Though. This was the pressure. This is going to be our first win. Everybody's counting on me, and the pressure was too. That moment was too big for him.
See, you either want that or you don't want that.
Right. That moment was too big for him.
Give me the
because
juice.
this is what it is.
Put the people.
Every time. I want that every time.
Let me say this. When you get into a moment like this, right? You've already visualized yourself making this kick. Not day of, not day before. You've been waiting for this opportunity your whole life as a kicker to be put in this position, right? Be put in this position to put the team on my back and get us our first win of the year. And you go out there and you piss down your leg. You go out there and you piss down the moment is too big. And it's not, I'm not talking about him as a problem. This play. This particular play, he went out there and he literally said, you know what? Moment too big. I'm not ready for this moment.
He wanted no part of that moment.
I could have got closer than that. I could have got a kick closer than that. Sawyer! I don't know about Sawyer.
Joik, you couldn't have got that kick that close.
Listen,
I've kicked the 50-yarder before.
Joik, to your point,
you couldn't have got the kick that close.
There wasn't confidence in him.
Just so you know.
Okay.
Right, Neil? Walking up to the ball, like we all saw it as he.
Well, that's what everyone's talking in the YouTube chat thread. The look on his face.
It's just like even his preparation and stuff like that. It's just he didn't, and it just dude, he didn't even kick it. It looked like he just. I don't know, man. I don't know about kicking.
I have no clue, no idea. It don't even look like he had when he kicked it. It's like he didn't have enough power to even.
That's
get
what
the
I
ball.
said. It looked like a wounded duck.
You know, and then. You know, we can sit here, we can talk about him kicking the ball, and we can talk about, honestly, they shouldn't even been in that position. I mean, when you have a quarterback going out there and let's go about, and these are real numbers, right? Total yards, our 306 to their 387. Passing yards, Steelers 242, Lions passing yards 77 yards. Rushing yards, 145 for the Steelers. Rushing yards for us, almost right under 230 at 229.
Yeah.
We rushed for 229 yards and passed for 77 yards. Now,
wait,
and give it take. Let's talk. And so we sit here and say, well, how much did he throw? Well, he threw for 14 for 25. All right.
Joy, the glaring stat: the air yards, 1.8. Which is 5 feet. 5 freaking feet. Watch. That's 5 feet. Right there. That's the air yards. This far.
DeAndre Swift put the team on his back. All right. I have, and it really showed. And the thing is, when Taylor Decker came back, what it gave them the opportunity to do was to dominate both sides of the ball. Oh, both sides of the O-line. Left tackle, right tackle. And the way that DeAndre Swift, I mean, it was one particular time where I think they gave him the ball 8 plays in a row, and one of the plays was a pass that they didn't connect on. And in my head, I'm like, I know this guy is tired. This guy is tired. And when I say, and this is the epitome of your teammate making a play, and you want to come out, and now you want to make a play. You look at Goodwin comes out. He gets 2 rushes. 2 for 56 yards, averaging 28 yards a carry. And then you have Jefferson coming out, 3 carries for 41 yards, averaging 13 yards a carry. Then DeAndre Swift, 33 for 130, averaging right under 4 yards a carry. The rushing, we said, now this is what I've been expecting of the Lions this entire year, right? But when we lost Frank, when we lost Decker, we knew
you lost that ability.
We lost that ability to do that, right? And you can see that the past couple of weeks. The past couple of weeks, we've been averaging 2 to 3 yards a carry. And when he comes back, we go first game back, we rush for over 200 yards. Our highest rushing stat this entire year. And that just comes to show you we don't even have Frank back yet. Only imagine when we get Frank back. When Frank right now comes back, that number says heighten. And so just going forward, man, I hate to say it, but Jared Goff he isn't that guy.
Listen.
He isn't that guy. He's not going to be a part of this. He'll be here next year.
He'll be here next year.
He'll be here next year.
It's a money thing.
The numbers say he will.
He'll be here next year, and that was smart for him. He'll be here next year. But I promise you, after next year, he's out of here. There's a couple guys that probably won't be here. Trey Flowers, he may not be here. He's getting that Von Miller money of when Von Miller was in his prime, and he's not producing. Now, he's playing well. He's playing okay for us. He's playing okay. But not worth that.
Jared Goff's here next year at $30.5 million dead cap. He's here, like you said.
He's here.
Here's the telling question, right? And thank you, Juice's Ghost, for he said somebody remind D-Mac that it's 9 of 34. Calm down. Thank you, Juice. That's why I love you guys. But my question is, and it's more of a statement, but isn't it? This is the state of it. When the Michigan fan base has more confidence in Cade McNamara throwing it down the field than the Lions quarterback Jared Goff.
That's where it's at right
That's
now.
where
But
it's
again,
at.
guys, he's not going anywhere,
We're
and he's going to
hungry
play.
for a win. We're
and he's
hungry
going to
for a
play.
win. We're hungry
But
for a
then
win.
my
Neil.
question is then how if he's hurt or
We're hungry for a win.
no, we're not. We're thirsty.
I'm not.
You thirsty for a win?
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's a drought out.
thirsty than
It's a
ever.
drought out. Is it a drought out?
Well, hey, speaking of sponsors, Tev Sauce in our YouTube chat says I'm sorry. Mike says Santoso is going to get rejected by Northwestern Tech and be told to stay out. So you know that's the case. And you know we are talking about Santoso about how he couldn't get the job done and the moment was too big for him. I think he rose to the occasion because Tev Sauce too says it best. He's Neil's MVP for preserving the number 1 draft pick. Everybody else around couldn't get the job done. They ran for 200 plus yards and everything. It was all our world was falling apart around us. But every now and then you need a hero.
Valdez's right-hand man, right?
You need a hero every so often, and Santoso came through, and he was a hero.
For you.
He was.
I knew you were the happiest guy. First tweet went to you.
We ran with the devil. There is no doubt about that. But we can celebrate that non-win by the Detroit Lions by pouring some Gypsy vodka on top of some club soda and some ice. Squeeze a couple limes in there. Yeah, no, that's how I'm going to do it. It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy is the best tasting, smoothest vodka on the market. Gypsy's gluten-free and corn distilled 6 times using artesian spring water. Support local brothers here from Michigan. Twin brothers, as a matter of fact. Try a bottle today. Ask for it by name. Gypsy Vodka. As always, drink responsibly.
Woodward Sports is giving you a chance to sit front row on Thanksgiving. All you have to do is survive our squid game. Nope, our turkey games. Listen every day to the Morning Woodward Show at 9 a.m. Big D Energy at noon. And the bottom line at 3 p.m. for your chance to qualify. The winner of turkey games will get tickets to the Thanksgiving Day Detroit game.
Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a football game right now?
Plus a turkey. So if you think you can master our turkey games challenges, watch, listen, and win. Make sure you're following @Woodward Sports on all social media or go to woodwardsports.com for additional chances to qualify. May the best turkey win.
Turkey games coming up. That's right. We're going to get you qualified for an opportunity to win front row Detroit Lions tickets on Thanksgiving. All you got to do is survive the Squid Turkey games, and we're getting people qualified every day here on Woodward Sports Network. Morning Woodward Show at 9 a.m. Here, Big D Energy at noon, and the bottom line at 3 o'clock for your chance to qualify. Here's what you got to do, folks. You got to get out, compete in the turkey games. If you win, you'll get front row tickets to that Thanksgiving Day Detroit Lions game. Here's what we got to do. We've been talking about the Lions kicker, Santoso. Get out your email app. Email to turkeygames turkeygames2021@gmail.com. Send an email, turkeygames2021@gmail.com. Tell me what CFL team Santoso kicked for. Fish, those emails go right to Fish. He'll pick out a winner. It's right in his wheelhouse. Tell me what Canadian Football League team Santoso kicked for, and we'll get you qualified for a shot to compete in our Turkey Games and win front row tickets to the Lions game on Thanksgiving.
I'm with it.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, second hour of the show. Neil Rule, Joik Bell, D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house, Fish in the bowl. Sawyer on the ones and twos, mixing and scratching and making it sound oh so nice. So, you know, Joik gave his thoughts on Jared Goff and the future of Jared Goff.
I didn't give them all.
He has more, and we're going to get to him. Just hold on in a couple of seconds. But Dan Campbell also had some thoughts as to why Jared Goff is still the quarterback.
Well, I think right now, when you think about what we've changed after the bye and the fact that we wanted to tinker with a couple of things, and then there again, I kind of took over the green dot, if you will. You know, there was a certain way we wanted to go. We wanted to take shots early. We took one shot and we didn't get it, but there's also pressure in his face when he's trying to throw it. All right. So that thing comes up, and then you end up in one of these games where the weather, and you realize that you're running it well, you're going to continue to run it. Well, it's you know, it's hard to say that he shouldn't be the guy right now. It's hard to say that, man, because you know, all right, man, make this. Well, there again, every time we tried to throw it and drop back, just about where our protection breaks down. And so until we can do things right around him. Now, there's throws we want to see that he needs to make. I mean, there was a dart that we threw to Leaf, you know, that he should make, and he's pissed off about it too. But ultimately, I still think right now he's the guy that gives us the best chance.
And on our YouTube chat thread, some of the listeners, Don Rivera says, money should not dictate who plays. If you have shown that you can't make plays, the only way to see who is good is giving everyone a shot. We aren't winning anyway. And Honolulu Blue Sparty says, I agree as a fan. I don't care about your money. I can't watch one more year. You have to play the best players or you lose a locker room. And to Dom and Honolulu Blue Sparty, and Joik, I'm curious to get your take on this. Here's the elephant in the room. Through everything we saw so far this season, and everything we saw in particular on Sunday, Jared Goff is the best option to win. Joik, I'm of the mindset he is, because if he wasn't, they would make a change. And we've seen David Blau play. We've seen it. I know everyone's saying, oh, it can't get worse or anything like that. Joik, maybe it could.
Hey, yo, you know what? You know what's good about being at the bottom?
Now you're here?
No. It's only up from here. It's only up from here. And, you know, I got to give credit to Dan Campbell literally sitting there and, you know, and saying those positive things about Jared Goff, because he's the head coach. He has to be there every day. He has to see Jared Goff. But deep down inside, he knows that Jared Goff is not going to be part of this winning culture here in Detroit. He wants to win a game because, of course, he's the coach, and it's going to look bad on his resume along with the other coaches. So the players in that locker room, the coaches, they want to win. They want to win now. I'll tell you who don't. Let me tell you who don't want to win. That front office. They don't want to win. Keep it the way it is. We need that number one pick. We need it. So Jared Goff, he said, you know, Jared Goff is, he's our best option. You know what he means when he says that? He's our best option for that number one pick. So we're going to keep him in there. Right? And you know why we need that number one pick? We need to go out and we have to go get a defensive player who is on that Michael Parsons level, if not better, and a Kayvon Thibodeau. Do we need him?
I'll hit. Well, that's a different question. What you need is the first overall pick in your kitty. right? So whatever player, if you're going to
there is a
use
player,
it, but you need
it's the most valuable commodity that you can have.
Commodity. And the thing is, the difference, right? It goes back to the conversations having a third overall pick. And we all knew, because we didn't trust Bob Quinn, that he wasn't going to take Okudah, right? Where everybody else. Instead of whatever trade pack, what did they do? They signed a backup quarterback the day before, right? The worst things that you can do. I have confidence in Brad Holmes that if you give him the first overall pick and put it in his treats, that might turn in for the organization 3 picks later on, because they might be able to trade up because maybe they don't like Thibodeau, or they have the option of anybody they want. That's what you want in this organization. That's how we move.
Man, it
forward.
Sounds like everybody's coming along with my line of thinking here, right?
What?
That it's
No,
the
no.
most valuable thing
Listen,
your organization can have.
This is what I want. Because I don't like. I'm happy with that tie, because now we're not going to be the first team to ever go 0-17, and now we can be the first team to go winless. We can be the first team to go winless. Now, if Houston wins another game, then I want us to win a game. But if they don't win another game, I'm fine with not winning here on out. I would like one more tie.
Neil, how savvy is Vegas? They have the over-under at 1.5 for wins when we talked about it. So at least to have one win and they don't lose. It's just a little caveat when we talked about, weeks ago that they had Vegas had the Lions that win in 1.5 games.
My question is this: say they win a game,
yeah,
and they tie the game. Does that tie count for a half?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
That's
the problem.
Yeah.
You can't win a game. And Joik, I talked about this yesterday, and I questioned mathematically why this is, but they have an 0.56 winning percentage now, because a tie in mathematical terms counts as a half a win and a half a loss. So even theoretically right now, you can't even tie another game now, because the tiebreaker between the Lions and Houston is strength of schedule. And for, we talk about playoffs and you have to have a higher strength of schedule in the tiebreaker. In this one, you want the lower strength of schedule to lose the tiebreaker. But Houston has that edge over the Lions. The Lions have played a pretty tough schedule.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, there's no more room for error. We can't have any mistakes like we had on Sunday, where Santoso came down from the heavens and saved the day. He might not do it next time. Next time they might make that kick.
Hey, I'm telling you,
we
right
can't
now,
have that, Joy.
Listen.
There's too much on the line.
We need to keep Ryan Santosa in there. We need to keep him on the team. We need to keep him on the team. Let's put, and this is what. So I also want to talk about this. Do I think they're going to let him go? I don't. Anything can happen, right? I don't know. I don't think they're going to let him go. They might. They might not be any, because you got to think, if he was out there, you got to think these other kickers, if they were good enough, they would have been signed already as well.
Yeah, but Joik, we're playing it again on the YouTube channel right now. Santoso's attempt at the game-winning kick. That could be a seminal moment in Lions history, if you think about it. Because if that kick goes through, we're not sitting here talking about being the sole owner of the number 1 overall draft pick. We're not talking about picking, as it stands right now, 1st, 27th, and 33rd. Because that's what it is. And Joik, look, again, I've said this all season long. It seems like a lot of people are jumping on my side of the fence now. That number 1 overall pick, whether you think there's a guy out there or not, it's the most valuable commodity that the Lions can have. It's the only valuable commodity that they can obtain. Those are the stakes right now. They can't make the playoffs. That's long been over. The most valuable piece of real estate they can have is the number 1 overall pick. Whether you think there's a clear-cut number 1 pick or no, that doesn't matter. The most valuable thing they can have is that pick. I'm glad to see everyone's jumping on, but it took a minute, D-Mac.
Well,
it took a minute.
It's the why, to explain the why, and as it plays out, and as we go on through the season, the picture opens up. It's sort of like the map. The map of the country. Some places it's hot, some places it's cold.
Right.
You don't know what that is. You know anything about that, Joy?
No, I don't.
The hot and cold?
Hot and cold? No, I don't know nothing about that.
No, not even where's Santoso?
Well, if Santoso gets cut and he was going to consider a career change, what would you recommend, Joik?
I would suggest, I want to get into Dan Campbell's what he said as well. He said the considering the weather, considering the circumstances and the things that they changed in that game, the pocket collapsing, all these things giving an excuse for Jared Goff's poor performance is just another visualization of them trying to let the people in the community know, like, this is our best chance. But he didn't say our best chance to win. He just said our best chance. So this is our best chance for the number 1 pick. Honestly, it really is. But if Sentosa had to go find another career,
maybe
how
the
about you check out Northwestern
industry?
Tech?
Yeah.
Start a new career in an industry that is always essential. The heated and cooling industry. To learn more today, go to northwesterntech.edu. I'm George Bell. That's Neil Rule, the rule breaker, Team Slater. That's Darren McCarty, Team Screech. Let's get after it. Actually, let's flip-flop that. Team Slater and Team Screech right here with Rule Breaker. Here we go. Stay tuned. Big D Energy.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Big D. Big D.
Back out of here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Joy Bell, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Fish in the Bowl, Sawyer on the 1s and 2s. Squad deep up in here as we always are on a Tuesday. Rich says the NFL system designed to give everyone a chance to be competitive. The Lions refuse to. They're drawing their line in the sand, Rich. They're saying, hey, not us.
Can I bring up something what Joint just said, right?
What's up?
And you said it earlier, right? Who doesn't want to win? The organization, right? Like the guys, the team,
like the front office.
The front office, right? Exactly, because for all the reasons Neil said and stuff like this. Right. But you brought up a good point, right? Dan Campbell didn't say he gives us the best chance. He didn't say win or lose or whatever.
He did.
So, which would you feel better if everybody was on the same page in cahoots, sort of?
Nah, Dan wants to win.
I understand that, but when you say, I'm just saying, but when you say things like that and you read into the conversation of don't worry about it, you're going out and trying, but hey, don't worry, at least we still got the first pick. Does that go on in the building?
No, I don't think it does. I just think it's a matter of Jared Goff's their best chance to win. We've seen the David Blau act. Pull up them numbers. Pull up them career numbers if you want to take a gander at something.
So this is strictly that.
This is strictly the personnel at hand to win. Their best option right now is Jared Goff.
So if they put Blau in, you would think that they were giving up? Is that
would be my inclination.
Okay. All right.
Joy, you're the expert. You tell me, man. You've seen David Blau play.
Because a lot of times when you read what people, I always tell you, listen in what Steve Eiserman says to his words because it comes to fruition. So Dan Campbell and Joy brought out the words. So how does that play in? Because the guys play hard. I mean, that defense I feel so bad for those guys. They were on the field. They played their guts out.
Played their guts out. You know what? But that's the thing, though. They did play their guts. I'm not talking about their effort. I'm not talking. We have the best effort. But defensively, we had opportunities in that game to where we could have sealed the game. Even in overtime, that drop pick on the 50-yard line where we could have gave he probably could have got up and ran with the ball, right? He probably could have got up and ran with the ball, but I didn't understand how he just he had the ball in both hands, bobbled it, and just dropped it. Like it's points like that in the game. Like we have opportunities to make these plays to put our team in a position to go out there and win the game. And it's just like they just didn't want to make that. No one wanted to make the play. They were in position to make the play, but no one.
See, I'm of the opinion they just weren't good enough. They're just not good enough to make the play.
No, it's not that they're not good. It's not that they're not good enough to make a play. Like, even right here, now we got the ball back with 8 seconds left. We come back. We get an opportunity for one more play. But you got to think, if you look 2 or 3 plays before this particular play, we had an opportunity to pick the ball off, and we missed that. Like, we have chance after chance this entire season to make that definitive play to put our team in position to win, and we don't want to make that play. I don't understand that. It's so frustrating because I knew coming into this season it was going to be a poor season or as far as the win or loss column. But when I'm sitting on the field, it's effort, and I'm happy to see that right? I'm happy to see that. But it's plays like the play I'm talking about that takes us it's stopping us from going to that next level. And that's the frustrating part, because they're better than their record, but you can't see it because they're not making these type of plays when they need to.
They're not better than their record.
No,
Joy.
they are. They're better than.
No, they're not, Joy. You know how I know? In the column, it says 0-8-1. That's how I know.
Here's the thing. I think we saw last night, right? To me, what I thought, or maybe had my expectations of Jared Goff, of what Jimmy Garoppolo did. You know, I'm not the 180 yards, 15 for 19, you know, a couple touchdowns or whatever, but whatever, game manager, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, he's not your asset guy, your go-to guy, but he's not going to cost you. He's just solid in there, you know, more so like a Tannehill, more so like that. And he's not even giving us that, because his average throw down the field is less than
5
That's
feet.
what I mean. Does anybody? So and here's the point, right? So now
You
they're
feel
saying
like
if
everyone's
he's hurt,
glossing
if he's
over on
hurt,
that.
if he's hurt, why is he playing? Dude, they ran a play action to Amon St. Brown in overtime that fooled everybody for 30 yards down the middle. That was a great play. Where was that throughout the game? If he's not, because he can make those throws. So is he not being put in the position like Dan Campbell said, or are they just excuses or whatever it is? But I expect more out of Jared Goff, just like I saw sort of like Jimmy Garoppolo. That's the high end.
Well, you are going to see more Jared Goff, as in next year you're going to see more of him, because he's got $30.5 million of dead cap space if you are to cut him. He ain't going anywhere till at least 2023.
He'll be right here.
But that just goes to show you again, and I know I go back to this, and guess what? We got, 8 more weeks left in the season? There'll be at least 8 more times where I sit here and remind you of this. In 2023, if you want to cut Jared Goff and Trey Flowers, now this isn't even draft related. In 2023, after we get through the 2022 season, if you want to cut Jared Goff and Trey Flowers, it's going to cost you $17 million of cap space to do it. Almost 10% of the cap. That's what the reality is. Jeff Okuda, too. You want to cut him? That's another $6 million. Now we're over $20 million in dead cap. That's the cross that Brad Holmes and this organization has to bear, right? The financial cross they have to bear.
You know, I had a conversation with people who kind of work in that industry as far as scouting talent, right? And we were talking about the quarterback from Cincinnati, and we talk about the teams he's playing against. And then you always talk about their rankings, and we talk about, well, they've done everything right. They're doing everything right. They're winning games. They can't control who they play. They can only go out there and perform to the best of their ability.
No, they could control who they played, and they went at Notre Dame and won.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that's one game, and Notre Dame is okay. Right.
Or they could be like Michigan, and every win they have in conference over combined teams of 12 and 30 in Big Ten play.
But that's not the point I'm trying to make.
I'm sorry, Joey.
That's not the
point.
Get
fired. We'll talk college football next.
And so, but we talk about him, and so when they, the scouts will go down there and look at him, they say he's a slender type quarterback. He's not. He's very lean, very small lower body. We don't know how he'll be able to fare in the NFL. And so I said, well, he's making plays, and you can't go off of who he's playing. You can only go off the way he's playing because he can't control who he's playing. He's winning his games. He said, well, you know what? You got to do that. You have to go off who they're playing, because that's how, and he said, this is how, not saying it's a mistake yet, right? But he said, that's what we did with Jeff Okuda, right? You got to look at who he's playing. This is how we look at other players. You got to look at who they're playing, right? And so when you look at players, you have to look and see who they're playing. That hurted me coming out of Division II. Who was he playing?
Right.
So I went from this big name guy to, I went off and I won the Harlan Hill. I went to the Senior Bowl. I started in the Senior Bowl.
But you did it in the GLIAC. You did it at Division II. Yeah.
And they look at who you play. Like I said, I can't control that.
No, and I get what you say, and that is the case.
And so when you go out here and you look at certain players on different teams, and you just say like, what's the hard part? How can you scout a good? How can you scout a Trey Lance, right? And say he has what it had, like he got what it takes. When you look at the quarterback from Cincinnati, right, and you look at him and say, we don't know, but he's undefeated. He's taking his team to possibly the playoffs. We don't know if that's going to happen.
Got a road win over a top 10 team.
Got a road, exactly. So what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? You know, and like I said, even the year when Jeff Okudah, I think he didn't. No one had a touchdown on Jeff Okudah his whole senior year. Not one receiver, not one. And you look at like what receivers did he go against? What quarterback receiver duo was a big threat that year?
Well, I was told the Big Ten's great though.
But it
Joey.
comes down to.
I'm just saying.
But it comes down to, don't you have a basis? Like, if I'm going to ask somebody about a running back, a guy that's played or whatever like that in the league is a guy that I'm going to go to. You know, for me, it's like trying to find a guy that played like me. Now, the hockey's changed, so the game's changed, so it's different. But with football, it sort of has it. So if Joy's watching a younger kid play, right, he might see some of himself or what he does, and you look for the effort. You look for the motor. At least I do. I look for the intangible things other than the talent, because that's the one thing. Everybody thinks they know, but it's always these guys. And you mentioned Okudah. Well, I'll think top of my head like a Cooper Kupp. You know, like a guy that's there. So if Brad Holmes is this good, he's supposed to find these guys, and that he needs the capital to do that, right? So, so a lot of the times it's who drafted it. Who's the guy? What are you looking for? What's the intangibles? Because I also believe that system and coaching and where you go plays a part in your development, right? Whether you're in a championship team or whether you're in a culture that doesn't win. You know, how are you supposed to learn how to win as a young guy when you don't have winning in the organization?
And that comes, that's the whole chicken and egg thing,
Absolutely.
right? That's where it always comes back to. But Joey two times brings up a good point on our YouTube chat thread. And this is, if there's one knock, and I saw some people in there were kind of labeling me like a Lions management apologist. This was the one knock I had, Joey, is he says they chose that golf cross, though, which is true. That was the one thing the one issue that I had. I love the trade because Goff became expendable after the second year. It was you're free to go. And then they kind of reworked the things and tried to lower the number. Now you have that $10 million buyout after the 2022 season. That is where that was the one move that I did have an issue with. But that was their guy, and that's the way they went with it.
Yeah,
I'm more concerned with the
draft. It played out on paper the way that it played out until we saw him actually play, right? No, I mean, it all worked out.
It all did until it didn't.
From there, they know him. Okay, we can get him. He's motivated.
As a team passed for under 77 yards, any team in the NFL in the last decade, has that?
I doubt it.
I think even the Philly snow game.
He had 5 quarters. He didn't have a full game.
Even the Philly snow game.
He had 5 quarters.
35 yards a quarter. 35 yards a quarter.
A half.
A
half.
No, he had what? 170
he had 5
yards.
Quarters.
He had 5 quarters to play.
So it's 30.
35 yards. 35 times 5, 175.
Hey, team stat was 77 yards passing. Team stat.
That's so grim, man.
Team stat. The team passing stat was 77 yards.
How many passes for over 77-yard touchdowns, or 77 yards by one quarterback and one throw last week?
One throw, yeah.
That just goes to show you where you're at.
Take your time, guys. The guys watching this show, if you guys are enjoying the show, just take the time out, 5 seconds. Go down and hit that like button. Go ahead. Go down there and hit that. You want to hit it. Hit that like button. Go hit it.
You know what else you might like?
What else? What else?
What else? See this here? Yeah. The young lady right behind Joik. As you've seen, her name's Alyssa. And guys, let's be honest. We like simple things like football 5 days a week, like things uncomplicated. Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Walk in, sign in, sit down, and before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Big D Energy, Neil Rule, Joint Bell, Darren McCarty. We'll be right back.
Woodward Sports. This part of the show today, watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. Choosing between a 15 or 30-year mortgage can be difficult, which is why we offer the Modern Mortgage, a flexible term that's customized for you. 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
Coming down the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Joik Bell in the house, Fish and Sawyer. mixing and scratching. Also, college football playoff rankings are coming out tonight. Let's take a look at where we stand from last week. And, I'm suspecting, there shouldn't really be any movement on paper, but here's what I'm thinking. Here's what me thinks, D-Mac, is they're going to flip-flop Ohio State and Oregon. So that way, when Ohio State, going by the point spread, typically 18.5-point favorites win. They do, typically. 19-point favorites win. Typically. Assuming,
more times than not.
Yeah, assuming Ohio State wins, they'll slide Michigan up as well, and you set off your de facto playoff game extravaganza on Thanksgiving weekend with Michigan and Ohio State. Despite the fact that, again, the victories for Michigan in the Big Ten Conference came against teams that are a combined 12-30 in Big Ten play. And maybe the Big Ten was just a little overvalued this year. Is that fair to say?
I don't know, man. I don't pay.
But it is a down year for college football across the board.
Well, it's a down year all around. I go back to the whole thing when Mel Kiper switches his top guy 800 times. There's really no powerhouse because usually that powerhouse is a quarterback carrying a team or the Heisman
there
or
are
whatever.
No quarterbacks.
So as far as the excitement level, because the teams that are the top four right now, they're susceptible to lose. So every team's beatable. Every team sort of can win. So I think it's just the norm, right? It's down all around, and the dominance is down.
And you know where I'm going to stand with it too. The whole Cincinnati thing. I just don't understand why they continue to fall when they've done anything that anybody else has done. Man, won their conference games against bad conference teams, just like Michigan has. Except the fact that they went into number 9, Notre Dame, and won. Bigger signature win than Michigan has. They've done everything Michigan's done. Again, those conference wins for over the Big Ten teams, their record's 12-30, the teams Michigan's beat. So I don't want to hear and I heard another media personality in town talking about, well, Michigan's at risk every week they play. Everybody's at risk. At risk against who? They're 12-30, the teams they play, the teams they've beaten. Who are they at risk against? Indiana? Come on, man. Who's more at risk this week?
At the end of the
Who's
day,
more at risk? Cincinnati playing SMU or Michigan playing Maryland? Because I know the answer to that question.
Michigan playing Maryland.
No, Cincinnati's more at risk against SMU. They've spent time in the top 20 this year. They got to go on the road. You know what I'm saying? Like this whole Michigan's at risk and the Big Ten thing. It's oversold.
Well, the
man.
Big Ten's always overvalued. So, is it overvalued this year? Yeah, because everybody else isn't that good. And you look at. But also to the credit that Michigan State have won losses.
Are you just talking about the teams that are in the Big Ten?
Talk about the teams Michigan have beaten. Yeah,
the teams that they're beating are what?
12-30 in Big Ten play.
Okay.
Think before you talk, Joy.
I asked you a question.
I added them all up, brother.
I asked you the question? I said, are you just talking about the Big Ten? You said yes.
Yes.
I said okay.
I'm talking about Michigan v. Cincinnati.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about right now. Because to me, that that whole Michigan-Cincinnati debate is not a debate.
Yeah, Michigan's better for sure.
No.
Yes.
No, Michigan's body of work is not better than Cincinnati's body. I know that's blasphemy to say around here, that no one will ever even look at the numbers or anything like that, but they are.
I'd like to see that game. Cincinnati,
I would
Michigan.
too. Well, you know what? Hopefully, I don't think it's going to go this way. I think Michigan's going to end up in the Rose Bowl, and they'll play the loser. Well, assuming Oregon runs a table, Michigan will probably play Utah in the Rose Bowl. Assuming Oregon loses, Michigan will play Oregon.
So you're sitting here and you're telling me if Michigan goes and beat Ohio State, that Ohio State is still going to be in that top 4?
No. What I'm telling you is Michigan's not going to beat Ohio State because they never beat Ohio State, but they're still going to end up in the Rose Bowl.
Never or haven't recently.
Well, however you want to phrase it.
Because last time I checked, we still have the all-time record. So.
That's right. When Michigan was the only school that gave scholarships. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
School.
Yeah. No, that's true. I forgot about that, Joy. No, but Michigan's still going to end up in the Rose Bowl. Like I'm telling you guys, this is how it's going to play out. The worst Michigan can do right now is be in the Rose Bowl.
See, to the point of how this year in college football has sort
That's
of
crazy.
been
You still
more
hate it.
unpredictable and crazy. I think I still think Oregon loses. I still think that there's an opportunity for one of these Michigan teams to beat Ohio State. I don't think it's like usually coming down to this point of the season, the top four already know who's the best four teams in the game. Where's the Clemsons? Where's the Baylor? Where's all this? So there's some excitement.
Neil, man, it's just funny how Neil can switch up. When I said now, when the schedule first came out, right? And
I've always said you control your schedule.
That's not what I said. Listen, I'm telling you. When the schedule first came out, he said, "Listen, they beat Western. They beat Western, but let's see what they do with Washington." And Washington lost
to Montana.
And then he said,
and their coach is fired now.
Hold up. And then he came back. You came back and said, "You know what? That game doesn't count. That game, but you can control who you play." And we put them on the schedule when they were ranked in the top 25.
Yeah, and I gave
Eric. So we
gave you credit for trying, but they still have fired their coach, Joy, and lost to Montana.
I hear what you're saying, but before the season started, you didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Right.
And then after that game,
but that is how it played out.
And then after that game, he said, "Well, Northern Illinois." He said, "Northern Illinois and the Rutgers, those games don't count."
They don't.
Because they don't count. I said, okay. He said that first test is going to be against Wisconsin, and then we'll see what they do then. Then
they won, and I said it was all right.
No. I
said it was all right until Wisconsin 6-3.
What I said was, are you going to give them that credit once they win that game? You said yes, and then when they won that game, the first thing you said was, "Oh, it was an okay win." No, that's not giving them that credit. That's like a backhanded smack to the face.
That's what we know, Joy. I'm going off of what we know.
Okay, and then
we find these things out.
Okay, and you said Wisconsin, Nebraska going to be their real test, and Nebraska
until it turns out that Nebraska stinks, and they're 3-6.
3-6, but we beat them.
And then YT Sparty says an unranked Penn State is better than all but two of the teams Cincinnati played. I mean, are they? Are they? Like we talk. It's James. You know, James Franklin's their coach, right? Like we know that.
Yeah.
Haven't we seen enough of his body of work? But I know he's going to go to USC because he's a great coach.
He's going up. What do you say? He always
whatever with that.
I know.
Upset. All right, the MSU game. We just got
beat.
We got beat. Couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, beat.
Couldn't stop Kenneth Walker. All right, we couldn't. All right, then we go out there, we smack Indiana, and we go down there to Penn State. We beat Penn State in their house, and then now we have Maryland. That should be a good warm-up game, a good tune-up game to get ready for Ohio State. It is what it's going to be.
No, it is, and it'll play out. And then when Ohio State beats Michigan, like they do 90% of the time since we flipped millenniums, that's how it'll play out. But Michigan will still go to the Rose Bowl, beating no one. If they lose to Ohio State and Michigan State, they beat no one.
You want to put eggs on that Ohio State game?
100%.
We'll put eggs on
for a week. That was different.
Now you being cute.
No, we're definitely putting eggs on that one. There is no doubt that we're going to put eggs on it.
So we have it here right now.
Andrew says, you say the record of the teams that play in the Big Ten, but ignore all those teams are competitive. No, Andrew, that's what they are. Nebraska's 3-6. Rutgers is bad. Like that's what they are. I don't know. I know it's because we're familiar with them and we see them all the time that we think they're good. But they're not. The teams Michigan have beat in Big Ten play are 12-30 in the Big Ten. That's not what I think. You can go look it up on Google yourself, or you can save the time and just believe me when I tell you. That's what it is. They're overvalued, man. They are. But you know what? They navigated the waters. They got a break in the schedule.
Woof, don't do it, Joy.
No, I mean, you can tell me what you think, Joik. I'm telling you what we know.
I'm telling you, the same way we were smacking Ohio State when we first started it and how they're smacking us now this is the time to turn it around, all right?
Nebraska would beat Cincinnati. Please.
That'd be a good game.
Please, Joy.
It'll be a good game.
Again, people are telling me would be. Let me tell you, Nebraska's 3-6. Let me tell you who Nebraska wouldn't beat. Illinois. You know how I know? They didn't beat them.
Where are you guys at with playoff expansion?
Nebraska is 3-4.
You think that this should be expanded?
Always.
They're 3-4 or 3-6?
They're 3-6 overall.
Because then we would see a lot of these arguments coming, you would see some of these games being played.
Yeah, no,
right? You wouldn't have to
100% I
worry.
want
Then-
to. But Darren, this goes back into the bigger thing. We got to get Dan Wetzel on so he can break this down for everyone because he's taught me everything I know with this.
Yeah.
And the depth of the BCS book, it's old, but guys, you need to read it because it provides a framework of what we're dealing with today. They are not going to expand the playoff because look at the College Football Committee. It's all Power 5 guys, and there's 2 like token mid-major,
Right.
athletic directors that are on there, just so they can say, "See, we took it into account." DMAC, for them to do that, they have to concede some of the power, and we're not even about money. It's not about money. It's about the
power.
fact that
It's
they
always
control
about
it
the
all,
power.
and that's always what it's about. And that's why they're going to fight this thing forever until they can skew away that they can have both, where they can expand it and not give up any of the power. That's just the way it's going to be.
All right, they're 3-7 overall, but
Oh, sorry, 3-7. My bad. I gave them too much credit.
You gave them too much credit. But when I go through and I look at every game they played and every game that they lost,
I know they were close, right?
But I'm just saying, we sit here and say they're terrible. You can't say they're terrible. They're not winning.
They're 3-7.
They're 3-7.
Is a 3-7 team good? Have you ever seen a good 3-7 team?
Yes, I have.
Get out of here, Joy.
Yes,
They're
I have.
3-7, man.
3-7.
They're not even going to go to a bowl where more than half the teams in Division I go to a bowl.
That don't mean they're trash. If you're losing games by 1 or 2, right? Because the thing is this: when Michigan wins the game by 3, you don't say, "Oh, they're a good team." You say, "Oh, they barely beat Nebraska." No, did they win or did they lose? Now,
Yeah, they beat a 3-7 team.
So is Michigan a good 9-1 team?
I'm trying to go by what you guys go by. You
That's
talk about
not- that's
records
not
all
what
the
I'm-
time and
8-1
everything
team?
like that. So I'm just trying to get on your level,
No,
Joy.
no, it's not good on my level. When you look at every game they lost is by a touchdown or less.
Okay, so it's margin. It's not the records of the teams they
don't mean
just
they're
help
terrible,
me, Joy.
but they're not terrible. That's what I'm saying.
So tomorrow I can come back. Tomorrow I can craft my argument to what your terms are tomorrow, and I'll come back with another one tomorrow.
Okay, so
that'll deal in fact.
Okay,
and then you'll
so
say,
since
no,
we're doing
not
that,
going
since
by
we're doing
this.
that, Michigan and Ohio State's on the same level because they have the same record. That's what we're doing.
No, because we're going to see.
No, it's not. We're going to. They're on the same level.
No, they're not on the same level.
MSU and Michigan are on the same level, right? Right.
Well, we're going to see, aren't we?
No, it's what it is. The record are the same.
We're going to see who's on whose level because they're going to play, Joy.
MSU and Michigan are on the same level.
No, they're not. Michigan State beat them.
It doesn't matter because they had the same record.
Okay, Joy.
All right, since we're doing that,
Okay.
since that's what we're doing here.
Okay.
That's what we're doing here. Nebraska's not a terrible team.
What's that?
Head-to-head always speaks volumes. I
You know
don't
what I'm
care
saying?
what did you do to any other team. What did you do to me?
Yeah. Rich says Cincinnati's an unknown quantity, but they will be known soon. And when they played Georgia in a bowl last year, lost on a last-second field goal. So according to Joyk's rationale, Cincinnati and Georgia are roughly the same. Right?
You said what?
Cincinnati lost to Georgia in a bowl game last year on a last-second field goal. So roughly they're the same, right?
We're talking the biggest. Let me see. The biggest loss they took was 9 points this year by Ohio State. That's their biggest loss. That's their biggest margin this year as far as taking an L. They're not a terrible team. They're not terrible. Now they play some better teams that got the best of them, but they're not a terrible team.
When you lose to Illinois, are you a good team?
Every dog has his day.
When you lose to Illinois, are you a good team?
If you lose to the Lions, are you not a good team?
No, you're not. If you lose the Lions, no, you're not a good team.
So,
or if you tie the
If you
Lions,
tie the Lions, you're even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Unless you have Mason Rudolph as your quarterback.
Whew, thank goodness.
Pull up. Oh man. Here we go.
Chris Sharp, Neil will not give the records of the teams that OSU beat. LOL. Because it's the same. But Chris, let me ask you this: going into the Ohio State-Michigan game, you got to bet your mortgage payment, or your wife leaves you. Who you betting it on?
He putting it on Michigan for sure. He wants his wife to leave him.
All right, fair. I don't know Chris's wife like that. I don't pretend to, but I'll take your word for it, Jake. When we come back, the Tigers made some news in the hot stove lead. Eduardo Rodriguez coming to town. Let's discuss when we come back. This is Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Coming down the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Darren McCarty, Joik Bell, Fish and Sawyer in the Heezy as well. And
Chris laughed.
The Heezy.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris laughed.
Did he?
So,
All right, good.
He's got a good sense of humor.
I'm glad that Chris is a good team player.
That was good.
I'm
That
good.
was a classic locker room chirp right
Yeah,
there. Right out of nowhere. Zing.
Yeah, absolutely. And now everyone's hitting me with the Jaguars beat the Bills, so obviously the Jaguars are better. Sure. Yep. Then that's the case.
No,
exactly.
no. If that's what you're saying, then that's the case.
No, that is the case. It is 100%. Because professional football and college football, the exact same thing. It's like I always say with the pros, man. They drive Mercedes too. Both sides drive Mercedes. To whereas when Michigan plays, they're non-conference. Only the Michigan players drive Mercedes.
NIL though.
NIL.
That's
loud. They can spend their money on good for them. I'm happy they get it. They should have been getting paid a long time ago. Coaches get paid. Administrators get paid.
Guess who else got paid?
Here we go.
Eduardo Rodriguez.
Here we go. Honolulu Blues Party. Exactly. Joik is right. Neil, you don't get to choose when you get to use the eye test and when you use record.
Okay. Then what are we gonna? All right, then just make the same 4 teams and play the playoff then every single year. And guess what? Michigan's still not in the party that way.
We'll see what happens. Ohio State still has to play Michigan.
Cincinnati's done anything Michigan's done except beat a top 10 team in the playoff rankings. They have. You can't argue that. You cannot argue that statement. They've done everything Michigan's done except beat a top 10 playoff team.
Hey, what do you
Because
say
Michigan
early?
hasn't.
You know what though? I'm gonna use your phrase here. We gonna see.
We gonna see. That's not my phrase. That's Drake's phrase.
That's right. We gonna see.
Yeah, Neil moving the goalpost again.
Always moving it. Always moving it. It's like
the following statement is factual.
This is what it is.
Cincinnati has done everything Michigan's done and beat a top 10 playoff team.
I'm gonna tell you here. You know how when you were a kid, right, and you and your friends are in a bedroom and you guys don't have a rim to play on, so y'all ball up a sock and y'all make teams, and one of your friends is the goalpost for you guys, the other one's the goalpost for the other one, and whenever you shoot the shot, you can just move you can move the rim and just.
He misses.
Oh, he missed. No, he made it. You're moving the rim. You're moving the rim, Neil.
No,
I'm
just going off of resumes. That's what I'm going off.
You're going off resume, eye test, records, everything.
Resume. What have you done?
What have you done?
I know when Cincinnati had a chance to beat a top 10 playoff team, they beat them on the road. When Michigan did, they didn't.
All right. So we're comparing MSU to Notre Dame. Okay.
No, I'm just telling you what happened.
So Notre Dame is better than MSU is what you're saying.
What were the rankings again? Is Notre Dame in front of Michigan State? Sawyer can bring it up.
I don't think so.
Let me see. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, they're in front of both of them.
They're in front of both of them. Okay, then. Very well.
Come on now.
Well, that's the Associated Press.
Yeah, that's the AP poll.
Yeah. What's the one that matters?
The one that has the right thing. I get all confused because I get excited Cincinnati's in the top.
By the way, when we do the college football rankings, can we just disband all the other ones so there's no confusion?
Yeah, please. You guys are really messing with me here. I can only store much stuff up in my head.
Like the AP, they should just eliminate it altogether. Say, all right, guys, thanks. We got it from here. No, it doesn't matter at all.
But isn't the AP, to your point, more of the eye test? From the coaches, from whatever, or
the coaches have their own poll. The AP is like the media.
So
the media poll.
So the eye test of people that watch the teams play.
Well, the people that watch only sections of the country play, kind of like the Heisman voting.
So then the AP. See, that's what I mean. The confusion or the background. I'd like to see. And I know because of the power we talked about it, but I'd like to see at least eight games because we're not talking about the 12th team here. We're not talking about the 10th. It's usually about 5, 6, and 7 that you want to see that you have the argument for, that it goes down to the committee. So hopefully sooner than later, the power, the money, all that figures out so us as fans can enjoy. We'll see. Right now we say, we'll see because Cincinnati's playing them and Cincinnati's going to play Ohio State, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then we'll see because at the end of the day, proof's in the pudding.
The proof is in the pudding. Eduardo Rodriguez signed by the Detroit Tigers, $77 million contract for him coming off Last year was 13-8, a 4.74 ERA. That WHIP is kind of high for my liking. A WHIP of 1.39. So, it's up there. And if you're going to roll with a guy that puts a lot of guys, if you're going to roll with a pitcher that puts a lot of guys on bases, you better have a shortstop that can field the ball. D-Mac, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, we'll figure that one out. I mean, but you look at what they've added, another young sort of arm under 20. What he's done, he's a lefty too. Lefty starters, I mean, that's huge. You got Tarek Skubal, you got him, with Mize and Manning, and it's formidable rotation developing. Now, that's one thing is obviously you got to improve because over a 1 walks and hits per inning, a lot of base passes. So we'll see. Maybe Comerica Park being more of a pitching ballpark with the defense that they have. That's where you say shortstop, and obviously we say that because of Carlos Correa or the guys.
I'm not even saying it's got to be Correa. I'm not on this big Correa train like everybody else. But what I'm
saying is that you look at it, you got to have guys that put the ball in play because you got the Derek Hills in the outfield and guys that put center field. You see up the middle how imperative it is, and it looks like they always say you're only as strong as up the middle. So they got a Gold Glove catcher, right? They're looking at possibly adding an all-star shortstop and stuff like this. So they're coming along, and if he can bring down the walks, per 9 innings, then because you got a left-handed starter, dude. I mean, that's gold.
YT Sparty says, or Cincinnati could schedule Ohio State every year. Yeah, because Ohio State's lining up to play Cincinnati, especially a home and home. Because why should Cincinnati have to settle? They're a top 10 team too. See, everyone says that. Well, why don't they just schedule Ohio State? Do you think Ohio State's signing up for that? No, they're not. But anyway, I do like the direction though the Tigers are going. What do you got, Joy?
All right, so let's get to it because I don't want to go back and forth. So let's go through the ranking, right? Let's go through the college playoff rankings real quick. You have Georgia at 9-0. You have Alabama 8-1, Oregon 8-1, Ohio State 8-1, Cincinnati 9-0, Michigan 8-1, MSU 8-1, Oklahoma 9-0. Then you have Notre Dame 8-1, and so they're not better. MSU is not. I mean, Notre Dame is not better than MSU, and so
in the rankings they go by, in the college football playoff rankings.
Yes, that they go by. They're not.
So are you going to pull that one up for me one more time here? We got to circle back for it.
Well, the college one.
Yep, the one I just sent you. Yes.
I didn't get your airdrop, by the way.
Oh, you did.
So they have Notre Dame at 9, Oklahoma at 8, Michigan State 7, Michigan 6, Cincinnati 5, and then the 4 playoff teams that we talked about. Right, and of those teams, only 2 of them, off the top of my head, have victories over teams that are in the top 10 of the college football playoff rankings. One of those teams is Cincinnati, the other one's Oregon. Right?
Say it again.
Only 2 of those teams in the top 10 have wins over top 10 college football rankings teams. Oregon beat Ohio State, and Cincinnati beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, but Notre Dame wasn't in that top 10 when they beat them. I mean, are we talking about like where they are now, or where
no? Because that's what they've proven to be. That's what it goes by, Joy. Hey, I didn't make it up. Don't look at me.
I'm just saying, when they played them, they weren't in the top 10.
I didn't make it up. The chairman of some Louisiana energy companies on that committee, not me, because that is a guy that's on the college football playoff committee. He's a chairman of an energy company in Louisiana and Arkansas. Why? I don't know. It's like a couple years ago when Condoleezza Rice was on there. Noted college football expert Condoleezza Rice. Noted college football expert, this chairman of the Louisiana Energy Committee.
So you don't agree with what you saw? You don't agree?
No, but it doesn't matter if I agree. That's what we're going by. That's what it is. That's what they're going by. That's what will determine people's fate.
Okay.
You know what's cool? We get to talk about this tomorrow, see if anything changes.
No, you're right, though. You're right. That is the bottom line.
It would have changed by now.
What's that?
It would have changed by now.
I told you, and if this happens, I want you to say, you know what, Neil, you were right. I bet they flip-flop. I bet they're going to flip-flop Oregon and Ohio State.
3 and 4.
Even though Oregon won. Just to give a little more juice to that Ohio State-Michigan State matchup. Michigan State might move up 1-2. Let me see here. I wonder if they'll move Michigan State in front of Michigan.
No.
I wonder if they'll do that.
If Michigan beats Ohio State, they're not going to put them.
Now I'm talking about for this week, though, because Joy, you got to keep the theater going.
Yeah, the theater.
This is a show.
Off the eye test, yes. Okay, cool. Off the eye test.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it doesn't matter. At the end, it doesn't matter because they're all going to play each other. But I'm just telling you guys, like, this is how this stuff works. You got to build up the hype. You got to sell the product. And the product's a college football playoff. I wonder if they'll say, much the same way that they put Michigan ahead of Michigan State, I wonder if they'll say, we really like the way Ohio State's playing, and we just feel like they're the that's always their explanation. We just really like the way Team X is playing, so we feel Team X is the third best team in the nation.
You know what I love coming out of that? You know what? That's exactly the same argument we had with all the committee members. That's a great question, and it was hard for us to go through it. But yeah, our sentiments exactly. And 6 out of the 11 or whatever, 7 out of 12, oh, we felt strongly. But, oh, man, it could go either way. Just try to appease both fan bases.
Yeah, and that's what they'll do. I bet there's going to be either Michigan State will jump Michigan, or Ohio State will jump Oregon, or both. Just so this weekend you can say, you've got 3 versus 6. It's a de facto playoff.
I think you're right as far as the fact is that what we saw there from last week, that even though there wasn't a huge loss in the top 10 or anything like that, it's going to change tomorrow. Because because it's all about building the juice.
Well, and here's the other thing it does too. So if they move Ohio State up, then when Ohio State plays Michigan, the Big Ten's guaranteed to get one in.
Yeah. No.
Pending winning
you'll explain this tomorrow as it plays out.
I'm just saying, guys, watch
the path of why.
Yeah,
just explains
watch
the why.
This explains the why. When Ohio State moves up to 3, then you have the ammo to have Michigan jump Cincinnati if they beat Ohio State.
Yeah, you know who understands that more than any of us do? It's Guardian Alarm, guys. Guardian Alarm. They get it. Good defense on and off the field helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm is state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe, all with 24/7 monitoring. Guardian Alarm, convenient features right from your phone so you check what temperature it is out. Obviously, it's getting colder. You want to make sure that the house is warm. You get home, control the lights, detect smoke, or even the deadly killer, carbon monoxide. Anyway, so everybody out there, get ready, because if you want to get in on this deal, please call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
All the way for the people in the back. Fish, 1-800.
Stay out. Get out of my house.
Get out of the fishbowl. Get out of his house. 1-800. Stay out. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years of keeping families safe. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Back for the final segment. Big D Energy. Here, Woodward Sports Network.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device. Final segment of the show here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Joik Bell in the house. Sawyer and Fish here as well as we come down the stretch. Mike says, Santoso field goal attempt. Stay out. They tend to. Field goals and extra points.
He did. He worked for Guardian. He kept it out.
Red Wings last night, D-Mac. Tough one to lose, especially in the fashion that they lost it. 3-2, they had the lead. Poof, they lost 5-3.
Well, here's the thing, right? When I said the ebbs and flows of the season, these are the toughest ones and the biggest learning. Because when you're up 3-2 with 6 minutes, 5 minutes left, that's when you got to absolutely shut teams down. That's when we got into our championship modes. It was, you'd watch TV, knew it was 5 minutes left, and all the offensive stars became defensive gurus. So it's all part of learning. But again, I'm never going to get tired of hearing Larkin to Raymond or Raymond to Larkin. I think what you see is them developing, that chemistry on the first line with Tyler Bertuzzi. And it's just unfortunate, Neil, because these are the type of games in the NHL, right? When it comes down is that the worst thing to happen would be you let them tie it up, but you got to take that game on the road into overtime to get the 1 point, right? With 3-point games, it's so important that on the road you get that 1 point. So the most disappointing part of this is the fact that they not only let the tying goal go in for the kid's first goal of his NHL career, but Werenski was able to capitalize with under 3 minutes left to score. So you can't – this is a tough one that keeps you up at night, but it's all about making this mistake and having this happen, and it's better to happen on the road, but how you bounce back. And the best part about the Detroit Red Wings is they're going to Dallas tonight, right? Short memory, go in and play, and it's going to be interesting. I know that Taro Hirose and Giovanni Smith were moved down to the practice squad, which means that Smith won't be playing tonight, because it'll be interesting because it's the first matchup between Dallas and Detroit since Jamie Benn cross-checked Dylan Larkin off the face-off and put him out for most of the offseason. So
you're saying something could happen?
I'm saying that when I tell you I have one game left and one shift, I'd use it tonight. That's all I'm saying. I'd use it tonight. So if I
you
get
heard
to
it
Dallas,
here first, folks.
But Coach knows that I didn't get a call last night. So, but what they have to do is this makes it imperative that they, what I tell you before: 75% at home, 50% on the road. So you got to bounce back in Dallas tonight and be a good road win, and that's the easiest way to correct your mistakes.
Pistons lost last night against Sacramento at Little Caesars Arena. They were never in that one. I flipped it on. It was like 42-16, and that was about the way that it stayed. But Cade Cunningham last night became the youngest player in NBA history to score 25 points in a game with 8 rebounds and 8 assists and make 5 3-pointers. Youngest in history. He is 20 years, 51 days old. LeBron was 20 years, 100 days old when he did it. Trae Young was a little bit older, and Luka Doncic was a little bit older as well. And look, I know there's a lot of qualifiers right there, but that move there shows me something. And Cade Cunningham, I know he was in a brutal shooting slump to start the season, but Joy, he's going to be all right.
Yeah, he's coming along. Yeah, give him time. Like I said, he went out there yesterday, but they took an L, but I'm still impressed with the kid. I love his leadership, the way that he has respect from his teammates, the way that he makes the team better when he's out there. There's just a few pieces we're missing, and we're going to get it together.
Yeah, it's one of those things too, Joik, where I talked about it before the season started. This team could win 22 games again and still be better off than they were last year, just simply because Cade Cunningham's here. I mean, I always talk about that rebuilding highway.
Restore.
It's for the Pistons, I see a lot of the same Red Wings qualities that I see, D-Mac. It's just that Steve Yzerman's a few more exits down the road.
That's all it is, right? And what you're seeing from Cade Cunningham early on is just he was injured. He's just getting a rhythm. I mean, I always go back to what he says. The more that we play together, the more we get to know each other, right? That's where it's at. And yeah, it's going to be tough in the win-loss column, but again, you don't watch this team. It's like you watched the Red Wing teams a couple of years ago before maybe COVID or whatever was frustrating, but you see the development of the Dylan Larkins, the Tyler Bertuzzi's, the guys that are going to be here in the future. So, like you said, thank goodness we have Cade. Congratulations to him, and this is the first of many, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's cool when you get on lists like that. And yeah, like I said, there were a lot of qualifiers and all that kind of stuff, but in the end, that is pretty cool. And I think YT or somebody asked in the YouTube chat thread, do the Pistons need a better coach? No, Pistons are fine. Dwayne Casey's fine. Got to remember, $30 million on the books this year, the final year of the Blake Griffin contract. So you're still dealing with that.
Well, that's all it. And when we have this conversation where we look into your pile of teams here with the salary cap and the draft capital and the Neil rule, I look at you like Mr. Monopoly when you put the Oracle on or whatever it is and you're ready to go. That's where they're at. But they're a couple years behind, so just enjoy.
And remember, too, DeAndre Jordan's still sitting on the books for $8 million for the DeAndre Jordan era that we never got to see. That was in a trade. That was a financial flexibility trade. So that's $38 million coming off the books next year.
Yeah.
So, they're in a position, they're going to 45-ish, 50-ish million.
They can go
cap
out
space
and
in 2 years.
And
you can do some things. So 2023.
2023, hashtag
same story. 2023. You won't have to wait. We got to get the NBA.
Feel sorry for the Lions then, or the Pistons.
Yeah, well, no, not 2023, man. We got to get the NBA draft sounder for after football season's over. we'll focus on that.
Do they have one?
I'm sure they do, right? Sawyer, they got to have one, right? Somewhere they do. We'll get it. We'll get it worked. We got time.
Okay.
We got time up until it gets to that.
But even after the season's over with, the draft still isn't until April.
Right. So, I mean, and then after April comes, then we got a couple months of Pistons sound that we can use.
Okay.
So we'll be all right. But you won't have to wait till 2023 for the next episode of Big D Energy. That'll be tomorrow at 10 o'clock right here on the Woodward Sports Network. For Darren McCarty, Joy Bell,
gang,
Fish and Sawyer, my name's Neil Rule. Thanks for watching, everybody. Well, see you later.